Hi, hi, hi. Welcome to Saturday Night Live. My name's lisalyle. This is my channel here on YouTube. Very warm welcome to anyone who may just be stumbling across this space. And of course, a very warm welcome back home to those who have been traveling with me for a while. So, tonight is our Saturday night edition pre-full blood moon in Virgo, total lunar eclipse. And we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. Actually, let me just get comfy here. I'm just getting in from work or from the job, job. And so, yeah, I'm just going to be here. We're going to touch on the full moon coming up and what this eclipse season is bringing to all of us and in the ways it's supporting us, as well as the energies that may hinder us and what we may get stuck in. So I'm going to take a moment and get the Palo Santo going. 111, make a wish. And the other message of that is you are on the right path. Keep going. Okay. So at this time, I'd like to ask that I'm a clear and pure channel to bring through messages from Source Divine, loving and kind. All right, so we're in Pisces season at the time of this live, and the information and the messages within this video, whenever you catch it, I trust that there will be something here for you. Even if we're on the other side of eclipse season, we work with eclipse energies for a 6-month period of time. And in fact, probably a bigger period of time than that, more like 18 months until everything's really, I guess, settled in and until we've been able to integrate the support, the information that has come with a particular eclipse season. So we've recently had the nodes of the moon, the north and the south node of the moon, move into Virgo and Pisces. And this is a shift from the Aries and Libra axis that the last few eclipse seasons have been on. So I'm just going to go right through all of this. So we're in Pisces season now. Pisces is a mutable water sign. Pisces season this year is from February 18th until March the 20th. At the beginning of Pisces season, we had Mars stationed direct. So Mars had been retrograde since December 6th, I believe, in the sign of Cancer. And it went direct on February the 23rd. So it's still in that station shadow period and will not be back at the same degree where it retrograded back in Sagittarius season, I believe. It won't be back to that same degree until April the 19th. And this is, it's a time, what I wrote here, it's time to put on your spiritual hip waders. And for those of you who don't know what hip waders are, those are the overall suspender things that fishermen wear so that they can get in the water when they're fishing. So with that being said, the animal messenger that's coming to mind with the put on the spiritual hip waders is, it's just come in now, I didn't even write that down, is the herring or the egret, those birds with the great big long legs and these big bodies, and you wonder how they can get up and take flight. Anyways, one of the spiritual messages or spiritual teachings of the herring, of the egret, is the ability to navigate deep waters and be the bridge between truly spirit and matter, heaven on earth. And when I think about the heron and their long legs and being in the deep waters, this is like deep emotional waters. Like Mars is in Cancer. Cancer is a really watery sign. We're in Pisces season. Pisces is a water sign. So there's a lot of emotion attached to this time that we're moving through. And you can see it externally. And a lot of the emotion that we're seeing external to our experience, and hopefully you're not having too much volatility in your own experience, but externally there's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of anger coming to the surface. And, and that's why I feel that the message is like, get those spiritual hip waders on and stay the course that your heart has chosen, and do all that you can each and every day. 555 on the clock. Do what you can each and every day to care for yourself, to really, it's like radical self-care. And this Pisces season, the message I received about it was, the theme of it is remembering who we are. Are we living in this? Because Pisces, it's the last sign of the zodiac. And, it is the marriage of spirit in matter when in its exalted form. When it's not so exalted, when it's perhaps in, what shall we say, unhealed, when it's in its unhealed energy, Pisces can be very fantastical, living in like a fantasy world of their own making confusion, and being quite foggy, not clear on things. And I feel like many of us moved into this particular Pisces season in a fog. And if you'll remember back to when Pisces started, February 28th, there was like February 28th, February 18th. It was quite a foggy time. So this Pisces season and this coming eclipse season is giving us an opportunity to learn to be receptive and deeply active in presence, in our presence, in the present moment. So we're not living out there and we're not living back there. We're right here in this moment, because past, present, future all merges now. And it's only the eternal now moment that any of us have. So it's an opportunity, this Pisces season, as well as this entire year of 2025. It's a universal 9 year. So this is wrapping things up. I know there'll be many people out there that say 10 is a completion. Personally, I understand 9 to be the completion before we move into the double digits of numbers. So 10 is the new beginning, the combination of the Fool energy and the Magician. We're in that space of alchemy as the Wheel of Fortune turns. So this year and this season in particular, Pisces season in March, is really about our own personal empowerment. And so again, stick to the path your heart has chosen. And we're being asked to lean into the non-linear scheme of things, if you will. So with the North Node in Pisces, the North Node is about our destiny. And we had that new moon on the 29th of February. And now we're quickly approaching at 2:55 a.m. We'll be on the other side of it this time next week. At 2:55 a.m. on March the 14th, we will have our lunar full blood moon total eclipse in the sign of Virgo, sitting on the south node of the moon, which is the karmic node. This moon is also known as the worm moon. So I'm feeling really, those who know me, I'm a Virgo. although Virgo's not my moon, Virgo is my sun, Leo's my moon, very connected to the Virgo energy as well as the energy of the moon. And I love working with the full moon, and in particular, this full moon in Virgo, to do cleansing and particularly parasite cleanses with a moon called the worm moon. So I brought some things here to share and show with you. I'm not really giving any direction. I'm just showing and sharing with you some tools that may be useful for you to work with, because this is a very good time to consider doing a parasite cleanse, perhaps a little bit of a fast, whether it's a water fast or, a water fast. I'm feeling 3 days. And so some of the things that I work with to do a parasite cleanse, this is super easy. These are super easy. You can just, sprinkle them on whatever you eat or just eat a handful. They do a great job at killing parasites. And we're all full of parasites. So, we may not want to accept it, yet it is the truth for all of us. Also, what you can do with these pumpkin seeds is you can grind them up and put them in a smoothie or sprinkle them on oatmeal or yogurt or whatever. So those are great. This is also great. And you can add this to smoothies. You can make a tea with it. But it's a fantastic parasite thing. Now, this is the mother. Well, I have 2 mothers of all parasite cleanse. This herb is actually mentioned in the book of Revelations in the Bible, about a star called wormwood falling to the earth and poisoning a third of the waters, I believe. And I started receiving guidance about wormwood, I don't know, maybe a handful of years ago. And I was like, that's weird. So I started looking it up, and then I found the reference to the Bible. And there was also a book. I can't remember. I wrote it down somewhere, but there was a book, and it was about wormwood. I'm going to have to find that book. Anyways, this is great. It's disgusting. It's absolutely yuck. Worse, way worse than Buckley's, way worse than oil of oregano. You've never tasted anything like it. It's actually very hard to get down, yet very effective. And I would say to use this with caution. And then the mother of all cleanses, and I love to microdose with this a few times a year. And no, you can't buy this at the hardware store. This bottle costs about $100. And you microdose, and the way you do that, it's the first thing you ingest in the morning with a little bit of juice, and it's a third of a teaspoon of this in the juice, and you shoot it back. And an hour later, you should follow with a tablespoon of this. And you want to make sure you get the laxative kind, because there is the kind that everybody's using on their face and their skin and stuff, which is amazing for healing as well, castor oil packs. But when you are ingesting it, you want to make sure it's the laxative. And I can only find it in these little bottles, and unfortunately not in glass. And then when I'm doing a parasite cleanse, I also like to support the liver, because, the liver is our filtration system. And so this is my favorite for liver support. And I have a lot of it, tincture form. You can add this to smoothies. You can make a tea. So I just thought I would share that. I felt guided to share that as we come up to this big Virgo full moon. So at the same time as all of that, Mars again went direct on the 24th, but will not be at the degree where it retrograded back in December until April the 19th. We have Venus retrograde, and we have Mercury going retrograde 2 days after the full blood moon, lunar eclipse, and it will be in its shadow until May the 2nd. So with this lunar eclipse in Virgo being, and it's a total eclipse, and we'll be able to see it here in the Americas. So if you're in North America, you're going to have a view of this beauty next week. I'll be out watching it. And this is going to really, again, Virgo's very much about Virgo in its negative polarity can be very overly analytical, too much in the head, very rigid is the word I would say. Some may say anal retentive. In its finest expression, Virgo is like the earth mother, the ultimate healer, the compassionate empath who really just, wants everyone to come together and get along. So some of the key words I wrote for this eclipse is instinctive reactions, representative of what we are being asked to release, let go of, and leave behind once and for all. And many of you who have been traveling with me for a while, and even those who haven't, are probably feeling this. You may be feeling stuff coming up that you haven't felt in a long time. Remember, Mars in Cancer tells us to put our spiritual hip waders on, because we are in the deep waters of our personal emotions, and we don't want to get caught up in the external explosive emotions, right? We are the change, we are the way showers, and the grounded presence in a world that's lost its marbles. And now with Mercury going retrograde in Aries, we can be prone to being a bit of a hothead. And Mercury retrograde really encourages, I love it. There's a lot of people out there that say, oh, don't do this, don't do that with Mercury retrograde. Technology is not our friend. And, we may have issues. And yes, these things happen. And they do happen, of course. And yet, as a Virgo, Mercury ruled, as well as Gemini is also Mercury ruled. Mercury retrograde is a wonderful time to go on the hermit's journey within, to reflect on the last quarter of your life, last 3-4 month period, and see how things are working out. Is there anything that you can let go of that's not quite working? And really just, I encourage everyone to take the time when Mercury is retrograde to just focus on the self. So it's all lining up. This is a time we are being called to really hone in on ourselves and our skills, and let's clear out what's there to be cleared. Venus will be retrograde until April the 16th, and Venus is the ruler of Taurus and Libra. And so, there's a really fine balance here. It feels like there's a real opportunity for us to balance the feminine and masculine polarity within our experience, the physical body. And Virgo points us to what is not working out, what's imperfect. This is where Virgo's that analytical mind, right? That critical, analytical is one thing, the critical mind is another. It's great to have the ability to critically think for ourselves. We don't want to be overly analytical and overly critical of others, and that, how we present in the world is really how we relate with ourselves. So we don't want to be overly analytical about ourselves, because it feels like the bird is wanting to break free from the cage. The star in the hermit's lantern, the light wants to come out and sprinkle itself all over everyone. Mars has stationed direct square to Chiron, who is Chiron, the wounded healer. And if you're around my vintage, you should look in your chart, your natal chart, to see where Chiron sits. For me, Chiron, when I was born, was in the sign of Aries. And, Chiron is the wounded healer. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. This is about getting the inner resources to move forward and take charge of our lives, not in an explosive, fiery way, in a really balanced way. Like Aries is the emperor, and Aries is also the Fool, right? And so the Emperor in his power knows, it, it just feels like knows that love is the whole point of why we're here, and to jump into that experience. And, out there in the collective, there seems to be a trend of almost sociopathy. We've got the cognitive dissonance that was prevalent and, um, a handful of years ago. And now we've got this sociopathic energy running rampant. Particularly, it feels like here in North America. Mm. And yet I actually feel it's like worldwide. I can only speak from the Canadian perspective. Canada, are you okay? Are you okay? Are we okay? Um, and, really, I feel like this Virgo full moon, lunar eclipse, blood moon, I feel like this is giving us an opportunity to connect with what has been the missing ingredient. And what I wrote, the missing ingredient is empathy. Empathy. And truly, empathy is our medicine. We are the medicine. And also, with this eclipse taking place on the south node, it's about, what's familiar. And we may be being asked to let go of what's familiar in the recent past, like not way back there, recently. So again, it's going to be different for everyone. Following this eclipse, we're going to have a solar eclipse in the sign of Aries on March the 29th, and this is taking place on the north node, and this is our destined new beginning. And if you've been following for a while and hanging out for a while, our new beginning is coming with we are the resurrection. And this year, the resurrection takes place on 420. And simply that means the return of the light. And I believe that as we approach the birth of the true new year, a lot of us are going to be maybe feeling like we're in a vice, maybe feeling like these hip waders, I'm having a hard time moving through these emotional waters. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. It's intense times on Mother Earth. Let's face it, we're all feeling it. We're all in it. Whether we're aware of what we're feeling or not, you're all feeling something. So if you're tuning in and going, hey, this lady's speaking my language, or yeah, it's because even tonight we were leaving work, I was pointing up to the sky and pointing out Mars that was snuggled up next to the moon. And then we had Pollux and what's the twins name? Pollux and Castor, the twins of Gemini, up there above the moon, making this beautiful triangle around the moon. And like we all are on the same planet, and we're all under the same sky, and we're all having a human experience, HUE experience. And so of course I'm speaking your language. Of course something resonates, because how could it not? We're all under the same influences. Or perhaps maybe you're within the energy of that sort of collective sociopathy and you're not feeling it. We want to be here in the purity of the heart, our heart, the snow moon. And it's this really, we would have recently had our snow moon. This just is about the purity of the heart. Close your eyes, feel your heart, tune into your breath, feel your belly rise and fall with your breath, and just come to a space of ease. You're the creator of the entire experience. And together we've created what we're seeing externally. And yet all we can do in the eternal present moment is take responsibility for our part, our heart, and healing from whatever has clouded the purity of our own beating heart. We're all beautiful. We all have unique gifts. Beauty truly is more than skin deep. So let's see. Everyone's quiet tonight. I feel like I'm talking to myself because I am. Um, step out of your comfort zone, the North Node. And so this is what we've got going on with the Aries. When the Aries solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, comes on the 29th, remember, our destined new beginning. Aw, we were talking about the Cancer energy, and here we have the new moon in Cancer. We have Mars in Cancer, which is very fiery, right? That fiery planet that might have us feeling like a hothead. We don't want to do that. And here's the feminine coming in and saying, Emperor, calm down, cool off. It's okay. You're safe. You're loved. Your loved ones are safe. Something really important about Cancer season this year. And to really move into this destined new beginning for all of us, we are going to have to step out of our comfort zone. I mean, every day when I leave the home, I step out of my comfort zone. This is my comfort zone. Home alone. Actually, I'm not home alone. The man child is home, and the dogs are here, and the cat's here. Yeah. As I'm speaking about the hothead, we've got this hot moon coming in, the extremes. And I feel like this whole message is about, and personally, I see the Virgo and Pisces axis as the healing walk that we each do. The red road that we walk in this lifetime, the red road that we walk with our ancestors and loved ones in spirit who guide us through this walk. And this really, hey, I hear you, I know. Hey, welcome. I'm not going to get too loud, and because I understand it's late. It's 12:12. How beautiful. We don't want to go to extremes. And externally, we're seeing extremes. Within Canada, I feel like we're seeing these extremes. And it's like, let us be the balance. Let us be the peace in the energetic of extremes. Let us show up in a responsible way in the world every day. And it begins with our thoughts. It begins with, our words, our actions, our thoughts, our deeds, all of it. And look at that. It looks like a blood moon, or maybe that's Mars, but it looks like the moon, right? So let's stay calm. I think there's a couple more cards from these decks, and then I'm going to pull a couple Queen of the Sun Oracle cards. This here is the Queen of the Moon Oracle and the Moonology Oracle combined. Oh, perfect. And I should mention this card is a 34, which makes it a 7. For me, 7 is always about your physical body. And it's also, lucky 7, 777. So this is when we're showing up for ourselves, I feel like luck is on our side. Good fortune is on our side. We're moving toward our destined new beginning, grounded and present in the now, breath by breath, step by step. That's it. Perfect. This is perfect. I said 3 more cards from here. Wait till you see. Guess. Can anyone guess what the last card out is? Here's the second to last. Number 22, wisdom. The waning gibbous. Is that waning? Yeah, the waning gibbous. Wisdom. This whole journey is about uncovering and rediscovering the wisdom in our very own hearts. Many of us at a very young age were First of all, many of us were children born, all children are born into this life with the wounds, from the womb of the mother. I'm not going to get into all of that here, but I do have a workshop that I did, a 13-week course that I created about womb wisdom, WOMB, wisdom. And we're all born into this lifetime with wounds that we picked up in the wound that were just like passed on from our mothers. No shade on the moms. Moms are the gateway to from spirit to matter. And moms are, moms, this is what we're wanting to rise up, the divine feminine, the empress, to the emperor, right? So the masculine, if you're in a male body, if you are a biological male, you are here to rise into that state of the emperor, and the feminine as the empress, and then the union, and then the co-creation. So this is really about uncovering the wisdom that resides within. And wisdom, in my opinion, and from my personal experience thus far, is pain healed. And it's number 22, which is a master number, a building block. And 2, the high priestess, standing on our own 2 feet, reaching for the stars. And if we fall, we'll land among the stars. And it's safe for us to trust our heart. So I'm going to reveal the final card, and it's just perfect. Any guesses? Any guesses? The full moon in Virgo. That's exactly what we've got coming. The full moon in Virgo. We are good enough. We are good enough. And I've had a lot of food for thought because of this possible diagnosis of arthritis in my hands. And so I pulled out the Louise Hay book yesterday, and it said feeling unloved or unlovable. And I've been really like, that's been mulling around. I'm a Virgo. It's been mulling around in my brain for, 24 hours, maybe 36 hours. It's not driving me insane. It's given me an opportunity to perhaps do that final, or what now seems like it may be the final layer of healing, the breakthrough, the break free to the destined new beginning. So that feels beautiful. And it's perfect that this card comes out as we're coming up to this Virgo full moon. Like, we are less than a week away. This is Empress energy. This is, the Queen of Pentacles energy. It's all the queens. The Empress is all the queens. And that's what Virgo feels like. Virgo is the Earth Mother. Virgo is the compassionate caregiver. And she is the one that grows this beautiful garden while here on Earth, living in the present, doing the inner work. Okay, so let's get a couple cards from the Queen of the Sun. And that one, 3. No. Okay, so the one that flipped, we're going to go with first. And this is it. Ideas. Solar cycle 9. Well, 9 is the year we're in. 9 is the number of the Hermit, which is the archetype for Virgo. So this is perfect. So, this Virgo, and look at the solar plexus. I feel like this is taking inspired action. Love in service, love in action. being inspired by creative new ideas. And even if they seem like off the wall and wacky out there, you don't have to act on them necessarily right now during this time, while we're still in this time where we are being asked to like do the inner work. We've got our spiritual hip waders on. We're moving through it. We're moving towards the resurrection, the rebirth, 420 this year. I just laugh every time I say that. So this may be a time where you are getting inspired ideas, and I feel like write it down. And I feel like the more time in meditation, focused breath work, communication with your spirit team, God, your angels, your loved ones in spirit, they're always close, always. And it's just like, and it feels like all those are those light bulbs, but I just saw them as bubbles. My hands aren't working so well anymore. My eyes don't work so well anymore. My heart still works perfectly fine, though. And I just heard, and becoming more refined. But what I saw those as is almost like our spirit, our crew around us. This feels really big. Yeah, fireflies, lightning bugs, fireflies. So pay attention to the inspired ideas you get. Maybe not necessarily taking action on them. Pay attention. And then we get the card following, which is the 10, solar cycle 10, reformation. And this looks like a time of not quite hibernation. It's almost like she's kind of resting, hanging out. I kind of feel this as like a little pod in a tree, and just like a hammock. A little pod in a tree. A hammock would be good too. And just taking it easy. And it's a 10. And it's funny because the next card that came out is the wealth card. And it is a 28, which is also a 10. So we've got the 9 flanked by 10s. The wheel is definitely turning in our favor. And if we can work with this Virgo blood moon, total lunar eclipse, if we can work with this to truly let go of something, it feels like maybe it's feelings of self-worth. With the message here, you are good enough. That's all about our self-worth. That's stored down in the sacral chakra, the space between our hips. And perhaps when many of us connected at first with that space between our hips, this is where the purity began to become clouded. There's something about that. And so again, they have me keep looking at this card. If you feel yourself getting angry and wanting to explode, like the hothead, smoke's coming out of your ears, the top of your head's flying off like a cartoon, and you're way out there, you're flipping out, you're ready to flip out. I'm feeling guided to ask you to pause, take a few breaths, and ask the child within what they need from you. Because the truth is, anger, rage is nothing more than pain that has not been healed, than pain, trauma that has not been dealt with. Well, pain, trauma is pain. So unhealed pain manifests as anger and rage. So address that. And it's interesting, right? Because when you think about, if you think about people when they drink alcohol, you either become this like, oh, happy-go-lucky person, yet many, and for sure, alcoholics oftentimes become enraged, inflamed, right? And the liver, I'm talking about showing you some things to support the liver. Milk thistle. The liver is the home of rage in the body. So I feel like somebody needed to hear that. But give yourself permission. Give yourself permission from now until around the time of Easter to just focus on what you need and feeling better and doing the things that are going to support your physical body to feel better, addressing the things that you may have to address. Like, I mean, I was having so much pain in my hands. I went to a doctor for the first time in a long time, like years, maybe decade or more. And really, the only reason I really did that was for the job, because it does limit some of my ability there. So, and then this is taking us back to the message of the upcoming, like after we get through this lunar eclipse, the Aries solar eclipse. And where the Aries solar eclipse, the destined new beginning, is abundant and prosperous. This is like, again, Empress energy or pre-Empress energy, but this feels like more like Empress. Look at her. She's got her white horse. You know, the purity of her heart has grown this beautiful garden. And look at her. She's like just head back, eyes closed, enjoying it. You know, just enjoying life. It's time that we start enjoying life and stop playing wicked games with people who are probably clinically insane, right? Let's not do that, because we all have enough to contend with. And you know what? It's really time for us to reclaim our power this very hour. And we're so supported. We've got so much support. And even if we don't feel like we have the support in our, you know, in our human HUE experience, we can create a safe space for ourselves and our loved ones and our friends. You know, like, and perhaps you're saying, May, I don't have many friends. Well, you know what? Neither do I. Neither do I. But that's why we come here and we join and we connect, and we know that we're not alone. We're all just here, human expressions of an eternal soul, here to remember that we are the light, born to resurrect in this life and create this beautiful Garden of Eden, doing life on our terms, our way, the heart-centered way. And time and again, we're going to be asked to step out of our comfort zone over and over again. And sometimes we'll be thrust out of our comfort zone. It's key, though, that we take responsibility for, you know, our emotional state along the way. And, you know, be a good citizen, empathetic and compassionate. And that work begins at home. And this, the Virgo, knows. You know, the only female of the zodiac, the only feminine energy. Well, I mean, Cancer and the moon, you know, the moon's feminine. But Virgo, you know, represented a representative of the divine feminine. Who is here to share wisdom and her ideas that bring peace and ease to the experience. And so, with that, did I do jazz hands tonight? I didn't even do my jazz hands. Virgo full moon, total lunar eclipse, blood moon. Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. And I'm really excited to do some cleansing with this energy. This is a good time to do purification rituals and practices. And You may feel inspired to do some early spring cleaning in the home space. Just tune into how you're feeling and yeah, tune into how you're feeling and show up for yourself and have faith that everything's working out for our shared greatest and highest good. And past, present, future, all is now. So I think with that being said, oh, hey, Kiva. Welcome. I was just going to say, with that being said, I think I was just looking here to say goodnight to Dawn. Say goodnight, Dawn. Sweet dreams. What was that saying? Sleep tight. Don't let the bugs bite. There's more to that, isn't there? Oh, no, don't apologize, Kiva. Go back and check it out from the beginning. I trust there'll be something there for you. It is 12:30 here, and we soon the clocks are going to magically jump ahead. So we're going to lose an hour. Where does that hour go? Anyways, I always find this time change, this time shift, an interesting one. So, yeah. Don't let the bed bugs bite. If they do, hit them with a shoe till they're black and blue and they won't bother you. I don't know. I just made that up. I think that works. Although if they do hit them with a shoe, I did know that part, but then till they're black and blue. All right, everyone. I'm getting squirrely. I'm going to go sit outside and look at the moon for a little bit. And then I'm going to make my way to bed. Tomorrow there will be interactive reading that is going to premiere tomorrow afternoon. It is your the two sides of that are poet or prophet. So stay tuned for that. And there will also be a new sound bath added to the Sunday Soothing Sounds playlist. And I will be back here live with you Monday morning at 11 a.m. So until then, everyone, thanks so much for showing up. I trust that something here has resonated with you. Please know that your presence here is a gift to this human who is eternally grateful for you in the here and now. So with that, I will catch you later. Have a good night. Oh, and if something resonated, consider a thumbs up, please and thank you. Until next time, everyone, take good care.